My name is Cassandra Seawell and I'm the garden manager at the City Honors School Garden, also known as Pellion Community Garden. So if you build something like a grow tunnel or even a large cold frame, which is kind of like a mini greenhouse, it extends your growing season. And the third season crops are things like kale, greens, collard greens, turnips, turnip greens, your root vegetables like carrots and beets. You can also do parsnips. You can do cabbage in a tunnel. So it's all those thicker, more water-resistant greens that people eat either in the spring or in the winter. And so even Brussels sprouts and stuff like that, if you have the patience, you could grow Brussels sprouts in a tunnel. I think that this whole contraption cost us less than $50. We used rebar, and the half-inch PVC kind of slips over the rebar. You can get rebar in 2-foot, 4-foot, and like 6-foot dimensions, and we used a 4-foot. So it's really about this tall. Our bed is about 18 inches deep, and we used a post hole. A stake pounder, and so we pounded the rebar in, so that's really secure. And then because the PVC is the thinner, this is a half-inch, so after about an inch to an inch and a half, it starts to become less flexible. Because this is a flexible one, we were able to make an arc shape. The PVC slips right over the rebar, and you just have to be careful when you're choosing your rebar to make sure that the tips were cut straight, because sometimes they're at a slant and that prevents you from being able to slip your PVC over it very easily. But ours is very snug, which is good because we don't want it to fall off either. And we only have 6 pieces of rebar and 3 pieces of PVC, so this was a really cheap tunnel. If we get a lot of heavy snowfall, I might have to make some modifications to the top and use some of the T connectors to put a spine going across and make it more of a V so that the snow will slip off. But as long as we don't get too much heavy snow, this shouldn't be a problem. We won't have any caving or anything like that because it's not that big of a hoop house, kind of structure. You can see that we built this using 3mm plastic that you can get from just about every garden center, home store. And we're using bricks on this side because I wanted to be able to keep it loose and open in case I have to water it throughout the season. But on the other side, we secured it with 1x4 wood nailed tightly all the way around, because when we get these strong gusts that we've had in the last 3 or 4 days, basically it proved that we needed more stability and strength to keep the plastic on. We're at a pretty windy site. And the clips were also in the plumbing section. And you can get them a variety of diameters, and I think what they're supposed to do is hold different pipes in place at your house, but they work for this too. And this is an experiment, so I think next year, we'll look for something that might be a little bit more effective than these, because they do have a tendency to blow off when we have really windy days. Inside, you can see we've got 3 rows of vegetables. We have chard, broccoli, kale, and 1 little kohlrabi right here. And we've also put in seeds for spinach and beets in the last week or so those should be hopefully sprouting up pretty soon. And we'll just see how far into the season we can continue to grow food. And even if these, wind up freezing, they'll be the first things that come back in the spring, because all of these are the kinds of plants that you can harvest from the outside. So you can always pinch off your kale and your chard as it ripens on the outside. And with the broccoli, once we start to get some crowns, we'll decide at that time whether or not we want to allow them to keep getting bigger, or if we'll pinch off the crowns and let them make broccoli sprouts, So kale, like many of the kind of open leaf, you can harvest from the outside, and it keeps growing from the middle, right? So you'll have sprouts as long as the plant is still alive. Same thing with chard. Yeah, you can harvest the outer leaves, and it still grows from the middle. So if you like getting fresh food still in the fall and the winter, then definitely consider building yourself a grow tunnel or a cold frame of some kind. It's not difficult. You might have to babysit it a little bit on the windier days and keep your eye on it, but it's not difficult. And any school can have this. Any resident can have something like this to extend your season.